Let's knit a pullover for children. This part of the video is an overview of what we're going to do, which is this. It's a classic pullover style with what's called a crew neck, fairly high and round. It will begin with ribbing. There is no armhole shaping. There is an opening here into which the sleeve is inserted. The sleeve is shaped like this. A sleeve of this sort can be knitted either from the top down or the bottom up. And in this case, I'm going to be focusing on top down for the reason that making neat decreases down the side is very easy. Making neat increases as you go up is more difficult. And this video is aimed at people who haven't loomed sweaters a great deal. So we're going to do everything the simplest way that makes sense. But we're beginning actually on the body. This is what the body will look like. This portion will be knitted in the round, so there won't be any need for a seam. The knitting just goes round and round. I'm going to show you the loom that I'm going to use. Let's back up a little bit. I'm going to make a very tiny one, absolute newborn size, which I don't really recommend, because a child grows out of it so quickly, some kids would never fit it at all. However, because all my other looms are presently tied up, that's the number of pegs I have to work with, and for demo purposes, it will be fine and make it very easy for you to see. So, what is the difference between knitting in the round and knitting flat? Very often, you will see pullovers where the front and the back both resemble this piece. Two flat pieces, only the front will have the deep curve for the neckline. The main difference is that if we knit in the round, there's no need for a side seam. Now, I've designed a pattern called the Kiss Your Kids Pullover. It's available in finished chest sizes 20 to 34 inches, which fits about 9-month to 10 or 12-year-old kids. And I'll be referencing that. It is for sale on my website and on Ravelry. If you would prefer to do your own math or to use a pattern that already exists that's in your collection, there's really no problem doing that and following my techniques. But here's one of the things you'll need to adjust. In most patterns, there is one whole column of stitches on each side devoted to that seam if they are flat knitted patterns, and the majority are. So if you use a pattern designed for knitting in the flat, you will need to reduce your stitch count by 2, one here and one here, and that will be true on the front and on the back. Therefore, the total reduction is 4 stitches. Now let's look at some sample size ideas. If we're all getting 4 stitches per inch, which is the goal, then to find out the ideal number of pegs, we simply multiply our target chest measurement, 20 inches, by 4. That's 4 stitches per inch, means 80 stitches, 80 pegs to use, simple. 22 times 4 is 88, and you can see my peg counts down here. 24 times 4 would be 96. Very simple math if you decide to wing it. It's not as simple when you get into shaping the sleeve. So don't assume that winging it is going to be quite this big a piece of cake, but it's possible. And because all of these stitch counts are multiples of 4, by virtue of the fact that we multiplied each measurement by 4, we can either use knit 1, purl 1 ribbing or knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. This is a multiple of 4 to finish your pattern. This is a multiple of 2. All of these numbers will work for that purpose, so you will have the option. So what we're going to do is cast on, knit in ribbing for a certain number of inches. For the baby sizes, I'm going to knit 2 inches. As you move up and choose a bigger size for, say, an 8 or 10-year-old, 4 inches is probably better, and we can customize that as we go. Once we're done with our ribbing, we will begin knitting stockinette in the round 2, and everything will go just like that up to this point when we will divide the work in half. So on one half of the pegs, we'll knit the front, and on the other half of the pegs, we'll knit the back. That will leave this opening to insert the sleeve in after we close the shoulders and add the neckband. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. So let's review quickly. We're knitting this shape. We're knitting in the round for the first part. We can use either of 2 kinds of ribbing, knit 1, purl 1, or knit 2, purl 2. Couple other things. Gauge is very important. Row gauge is not so terribly, because I'll show you how to adjust for it, but your stitch gauge is important. Get as close as you can to 4 stitches per inch, otherwise you are going to have a wildly unpredictable size. And a sweater is not difficult, but it's enough work. You don't want to knit it and find that it doesn't fit anybody that you know. So work on your gauge. I'm not going to cover swatching and gauging in this video because I've thoroughly covered it in other videos. So look on my video index. There's a specific KISS video index available at theanswerlady.com, and you can find out more about swatching. So, ready to begin? We'll move on to the next video and we'll cast on.